Welcome back, everyone, to Open Line. Glad you're with us tonight. The moratorium on evictions that has been going on all throughout COVID was extended in March until June for here in Davidson County. Ends in June. It ends in 15 days, as we have been discussing. What we're talking about tonight is rent relief. When that moratorium ends, there may be people who will be evicted or will be certainly, it'll be eligible for eviction. There is a lot of money that is available for rent relief. It's through the Metro Action Commission here in Davidson County. It's through the Tennessee Housing Development Agency. I think I said that right, and across the state. But there's a lot of money. There's probably a lot of need. And so that's what we're talking about tonight. We have with us Lisa McCrady. She's with the Metro Action Commission. And we heard several callers just in that first segment. One, our last caller, talking about what this meant for him. And I know you can't give names, but you've been doing this for a while. Do you have some stories that kind of stand out to you, in this whole process?
So I'm reminded of a dad, and he had has, I think, 2 small children, and just really had a really tough time with managing online virtual school and job situation, and then was laid off or furloughed for a little bit and just really having a tough time. And he was already in the court system. So when the courts opened back up, there were some court cases that were pending that were now being heard in the courts. And so he was one of them. And so he was, we were right there at the wire trying to get everything settled in the system. Judge Bell's staff is amazing. They have a housing diversionary court that's specific to applicants who are, or residents here in Davidson County that are facing eviction, and having a process to where it's being heard in her court and working with the wonderful partners. But we were able to get his application through the system ahead of when the second hearing was coming. And so when it was heard for the second time, to hear that Metropolitan Action Commission had paid $23,000 towards his back rent was amazing. He also had utility costs that was also included in that. And so what he did was, many of our customers called back, but I remember he called back and said that when everything gets straightened out, I want to take all of you all out to lunch. He's like, this is just amazing. He said, you have to do like a small lunch, but I want to take everybody to lunch. We had another elderly customer that called, and she said, wait a minute, baby, let me sit down. Let me make sure I'm hearing what you're saying to me, that you're going to pay all of my past due rent. And so some of our customers even qualify for rent going forward. So there are many customers who are also not getting caught up to the month of June. They're getting forward payments. So July, August, and September are now covered. And so, there are many stories that we have to point to how grateful our customers are. We're also working with our landlords. And so this one landlord saying, wait a minute, you're paying what? It was almost like, they hear that the money is coming and that it's available and that this is what the person qualifies for. They've done the DocuSign in the system that says, this is what, but she had to sit down and say, I have to take all of this in. And then she talked about what this meant for her resident, because she knew the challenges this particular family was having, and just trying to navigate this. And this was a family that had never had any issues with paying, never had any issues with any other compliance rules of the property. So yeah, the stories go on and on. We have some that they've never been in this situation before, but they are so grateful with the level of care that we've treated them with. And it was, they were, I guess, not knowing what to expect. And so we over-delivered as it relates to their customer experience with us. So yeah, we have a lot of stories, Ben.
Well, that's great. I love everyone. I love each of those stories. That's excellent. And that, I wonder if people are fully aware. I mean, we've heard there's all this COVID relief money out there. We've heard there's a moratorium. It makes sense that if there's a moratorium, that when it's over, there could be a bunch of people evicted. We do have COVID relief money. It looks like a lot of money has gone toward now paying rent. And so there's money there. And do you feel like people fully understand how much is there? Do you feel like people are taking advantage of this in the way they should?
I think so, for the most part, but I do believe that there are some that are just, it's too good to be true. And they're waiting, and some are just paralyzed. I mean, this is life altering to be in a situation where your housing is at jeopardy, the roof over your head. And so this can be very paralyzing for some of our residents. And we want to continue to share this information to make sure that they know this is real, and we do have the funding to get you back on track, to make sure that your housing's secured. With the issues that are going on with the affordability within Davidson County, that's another thing. You know, if you do get evicted, where in the world are you going to go in Davidson County? And so they're aware of that, and so so are we. So are the landlords, and so they're really trying to make sure that their landlords are not displaced, and whatever that can be done, everybody's really working with us.
Great. Let's go to Mike now. Hello, Mike.
Hey, good evening, Ben, and good evening to the director of Metro Action Network. My question to the director is, what's happening to the people where the landlords were not following the rules as far as the moratorium, where they decided this is about me, I'm not going to wait on the local government, county or state or federal government to come through for rent that is owed to me as a property owner or a landlord. And there's studies that are still coming out by the Pew Research Foundation on how many people literally got kicked out of apartments and homes because they fell in that crack. What is Nashville doing as a county and a city to help those people who literally are now homeless and they need desperate help? They are homeless for the first time for no other reason but for the pandemic. And a lot of those people have children, and some of them are responsible for taking care of elderly relatives and things like that. And
Okay.
I just want to know where those people can go if they can come to you for help to get them back into some type of housing. And I'll hang up and listen to your answer. You guys have a good night.
You too. Thank you, Mike. All right, you heard the question. What do you think?
Yeah, I
there?
appreciate the question. Homelessness is an issue here, and so that's one of the major things that this program is trying to prevent. But there are some who have already been in the court system, and when it opened back up, it just really ramped things up. And so those are the ones that we're really, really tracking with Judge Bell and her team, just to make sure that they don't fall between the cracks. There are some who are already facing evictions for other reasons. They may have already had a judgment, and for whatever reason, they didn't appear for court. So we're also making sure people know, hey, it's very important. If you have a court date, it's very important that you show up. So that's one of the things that we're trying to make sure that people understand. But we are connected to organizations such as Metro Social Services and Rooftop and some other organizations, NeedLink within our network here in the city, to make sure that if someone did fall through the cracks, they became homeless, these are the organizations that are here to try to find housing, affordable housing for you. MDHA is a great partner as far as finding houses that are available. We are also working with the Greater Nashville Rental Association on apartment complexes to see, where the income-based apartment availabilities. And so that was a really important partnership. But the caller is correct. There is a portion of our residents who are definitely facing or are currently homeless. They're in their cars, they're in shelters, they're in other places. And so those individuals are coming to us, and they're coming to the other organizations that I've mentioned so that we can get them rehoused. Also, I'm sure the caller is aware that the city of Nashville is looking at the affordability issue. And so there's a lot of information and a lot of people looking at it and working towards it. There's some money that is appropriated or going through council right now as far as looking at the affordability and making sure that we have options for people who are homeless or who are in need of affordable housing. So a lot of things are being pointed in that direction. As a native Nashvilleian, growing up here, Nashville looks a lot different than it did when I was younger. And so the incomes are a lot different. The affordability is a lot, different. And so it does take us as a complete community to make sure that we don't lose sight of everyone who lives here in Davidson County, and making sure that the residents stay housed or they become housed.
Okay. All right, Mike, thanks for that call. Let's go to Shamita. Shamita, are you there?
Uh-huh.
Go right ahead.
Hey, I was calling because I had put in my application back in April, and I haven't heard, and I've called several times, and they have everything that they need. And my landlord has sent paper for the total, and I had sent that in to them. I know it's a lot of people out there that you all have to help, but I was just trying to really see where I was at. They were going to help. My lights got cut off. I had to scrape $500 and some to get that back on. I mean, I just really want to know where I'm at as far as getting the help in my application. My paperwork and stuff has been in since April.
Okay. I don't know if you can help her specifically. What do you recommend for somebody like Shamita?
So if, Ben, you could have someone on your team get her information for me, I would like to look at her application specifically. Some of the things that could impact the application not being completed is it could be that there are some things on the landlord side that we don't have. It could be some things that it sounds like your side is complete. So I would imagine that it's probably maybe on the landlord side, and we could be working with your landlord. Likely we are, to where they're working on whatever it is that's in the system to make sure we have everything. Also, the final documents will come to you as an email. So making sure that we have up-to-date emails and contact information for you, that is key. And one of the things that we have done to make changes here is that we've reversed the operation of our call system to actually reach out to customers that we maybe the final paper is there, and so maybe something has changed, like an email address or a phone number where we're not able to reach them to complete the application. So there are various things that could be presenting a barrier on our side as it relates to getting you to payment. Certainly, we need to make sure that we're looking at everything as it relates to her application specifically. We also want to make sure that no one's utility is being disrupted. We have a lot of funding for that as well. And so just trying to make sure that I understand all of what's going on with that particular application. So Ben, if you would have someone get her information for me so that I can reach back out specifically and tell you exactly what I need. And one of the things that we are needing is application numbers. If anyone's listening and that's in that same situation and you've not heard from us, it might mean that we don't have updated information for you. And so you're able to actually call into our organization, make sure that we have that, and we will have somebody call you back at your updated information to get it updated in the system. Because likely that is the situation for many of our customers, or some of our customers. We just don't have the updated information. We're trying to pay, but we can't reach you.
Wow.
You can call, you can email us, you can come by, because we're needing to get that information out. And I'm glad she called, because that gave me an opportunity to say that. Sometimes it's something as simple as contact information. We need you that you agree that we're getting ready to pay this amount, and it's coming to you as an email. And we may not have the updated email to communicate that with you. Once we get the email, you sign it saying, yes, I agree that you're going to pay this. Your landlord signs it. That starts the payment. So that could be what's holding up this particular application.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
I hope we did get Shamita's information. Shamita, thank you for calling in and sharing your situation.
And if she's still listening, she can call us in I think you have our phone number. Give us a call.
We'll take a break and we'll come back and we'll go through all of the information again. If you don't mind, we'll get ready to give you the phone number there at the Metro Action Commission, the website, all of that stuff. So we'll take a break now, get a pen, piece of paper, be ready, and we'll go over all of that when we come back. We'll take a break. Be back right after this.